and start that. So just welcome today. We're glad you guys could all make it to our Zoom meeting this week. I am the Vice President of District 3, Nicole Roa, and I'm with Hayward Area Recreation and Park District. And co-hosting with me today is CJ, who is with the Park District also, and also on our District 3. So I'm going to let him start. We're going to talk a little bit about, right now, his team has actually been working through our facilities and parks and stuff, so it really hasn't stopped. And so CJ, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you and let you talk a little bit about the equipment and stuff that you're using and how you're making that all work.
Okay. Hey, welcome everybody. Can you hear me pretty good, or do I need to get closer to my phone?
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right. So my name's Chris CJ Costanzo, and I'm with Parks or Grounds Maintenance at heart, and I'm also the D&O rep for the D3. And when I was thinking how I could contribute or where we could things that were going on during this COVID, I realized that something that has been a sort of a little hole in our organization, and probably a lot of organizations, is the PPE. And something that since the day one I've realized that I've had to it's been a big part of my job duties now, is making sure, one, all the employees have the PPE and the appropriate PPE and disinfectant. So they have the personal protection equipment, but then also nowadays this disinfecting and then the ability to clean has been, and clean equipment, clean your hands, clean any high touch areas, has also been really important. And the biggest thing that we're coming against is being able to get it and being able to acquire it in an amount where you can have, you can be comfortable having employees come to work, whether it be permanent staff or bringing back part-time staff to run camps, also all the way to the employees that are there, and then anything that you want to provide to the public, and really getting ahead of that and stockpiling what we could or what you might need. And then also sort of understanding as we come back to work and the public starts coming back to work, what their expectations for a public agency will be. For, a lot of places, you probably will have like the plexiglass or some glass going up where there's interactions between, the high public interactions at the front counter and stuff like that. So I wanted to facilitate a conversation with that, be able to answer questions. I can also sort of give you what we've been doing as best practices, really do overall a talk about what was going on. I don't mind facilitating this once every week, every couple weeks, because it's, as I've realized, it changes every week. The county orders are one thing, and then what your organization and what maybe your city council or board of directors are thinking they want to do, and then being able to get on either whether it's working with your purchasing department, working with your maintenance department, or some places you probably have to do it yourself. How do you get on cue, and how do you interact with some of the vendors that might have what you need, and how much do you need, and how much months should you plan to have a backstock for? So sort of what this meeting's about. And I don't have a particular way I facilitate it, but I think the most important thing is to get to questions and the things that people want to know, start off with that instead of just hearing me talk about things, because I could talk all day long if you ask my coworkers. Isn't that right, Nicole?
Yeah.
So, if you had questions, I would suggest you can either just chime in or ask them on the chat. I would like to be able to answer anything that I might know, or any experiences I've had recently with this stuff. If I don't see any questions, I can just start talking about some of the unique things that I've noticed since mid-March. So I will be quiet for a second to allow people to chime in.
I have a quick one that might help kind of get the ball rolling. With our office, it always seems like the things that are the easiest ones to miss are the ones we miss all the time. So do you have any updates or advice on just some kind of small things, like whether it's forgetting to put hand sanitizer on or washing hands? Like, how can we remind politely all of our employees that we're just in a new situation with some easy fixes that we can, always be focused on?
So for one of the things we started implementing right away is, I don't know if your city, what or city or district was, we had a policy basically at every door. It's a reminder. That's probably something that most places have. And the reminder says face covering, wash your hands, do not enter if you're sick, and cough into your elbow. Those have been the generic things. Something that we've done other than that is we've had each department sort of designate where the wash area is, and a reminder like, hey, when you first come to work, wash your hands. And for all the parks maintenance workers, they go and they're washing hands and cleaning their trucks twice a day, workstations once a day. So we have people that have a workstation, and they'd be the only person that's at that workstation. We still have them wash once a day because somebody else, when they're not there, could sit down. And what we're doing is we're putting out we do have the ability right now. We're putting out the hand sanitizer bottles, big bottles, so the public can, or the people can squeeze it and rinse their hands off as they walk by. The other thing we did is that we've provided everybody with something similar to this, the PPE hand sanitizer. Now these take a while to get in, the individual ones, and if you can find enough for your people, these are great. And then after that, you can buy big 1 gallon refills, and you can start refilling with your hand sanitizer. Now, something that is an important that at the end of the day, it's not to make it or break it, but when you do start doing refills for any type of bottle, which I think in most places, if you're going to start running camps or you're going to start having seasonals, start doing their own disinfecting and all that stuff, is that you really do you're going to realize that concentrate and the bigger gallons are going to be a lot easier to come by and to disperse accordingly and where you need it. When you do that, it's really important that you disperse into like for like bottles. So somebody doesn't walk up to a bottle like this and then it has something that is not in here. It's maybe alcohol, maybe it's not what's in the label says on the bottle, because a hand sanitizer versus a disinfectant to maybe a layperson that hasn't looked at the labels or read the SDS can think, well, great, I'll just wash my hands with the disinfectant instead. Well, that disinfectant in a concentrate form is it's a danger word, a signal word, which means it's very dangerous, and it literally has it can make you blind if you get the concentrate in your eyes. Once it's diluted, it turns into something that has zero hazard levels. So that's one of the things that possibly I see as going forward in a lot of agencies, and having a lot of people deal with PPE and cleanliness that maybe they haven't done it, or they're not used to these weird idiosyncrasies, is making sure the bottles are labeled with the correct product. So when I got this bottle, for example, I made sure I buy Purell brand refills. And if I don't have Purell brand refills, you can literally take an empty bottle and write the name brand of whatever you're putting it in, because a lot of the companies will have a hand sanitizer of their own brand. They'll have a generic label brand, and most often the supply companies will be able to provide you a smaller bottle or whatever you might need with the label already printed on it. So that's one of the things. Another way we're getting people to wash their hands is really just a knock, 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 or like a reminder, constant reminders, constant reminders, constant reminders. I mean, really, I think that's sort of been the best thing. So hopefully that answers that question, and I answer maybe a little bit of another question that somebody might have.
CJ, I have one for you. So, how are you documenting the cleaning? Like, are you guys doing anything different than you've done in the past? Looking at it from taking maybe outside from the parks, moving it into facilities. What are you guys documenting it differently, or is there anything you're doing differently that it would be good for us to also use as far as documentation goes?
So I believe that our facilities and high touch areas like restrooms or any of the areas that the public might be going into, also employees, instead we're moving to the documentation you might see at like a gas station bathroom, or like inside Chili's bathroom or TGI Fridays bathroom, where you just have when it was serviced and who did it and what time and how long. And on top of that, what happened is a consistent training. So I have almost 30 something parks maintenance workers who I've never done a training on how to clean a bathroom. That is sort of like training how to do something, pick up litter. In the past, I've never had to clean your bathroom, make sure it's clean, and I don't know if it's not clean or not. But since COVID happened, what we've done is we've created what the cleaning looks like, and made sure everybody understands what the steps are cleaning. It seems so silly, but what are you cleaning? What are you going to be disinfecting? And then you set a standard, and you write up. I've wrote up the standard, what it looks like, how it looks like, and what it means every time you do it. So when they go to check the check mark that has been done, I know what that means. So that was some of the documentation that is a little extra. Is almost I created a safe, a standard operating procedure for cleaning a restroom, cleaning a high touch area. One of the things, so that would be one of the things we're doing is developing what it means, developing the standard, and then creating a checklist that a reconciliation of it. Now, I have not asked for somebody to tell me everything they've done every day. Rather, I've trained on the front end and then expect that the training goes through and then follow up. Yeah. Does that answer your question? All right. Some of the other things that I've noticed that's been really helpful, and it's a little bit more of a cost, but not much. Right now, I'm finding that the paper masks, this is a paper face mask, they've been between, if you buy at least 1,000 or 2,000 of them, they've been around $80 to $1 a piece. It's still pretty expensive considering what they are, plus shipping. And sometimes they take a few weeks or a few weeks to get in. What another thing I realized is there's vendors who will manufacture cloth masks, and what we've done here at Hard is we've purchased a significant amount of cloth masks and issued them out as PPE to all the employees. Everybody has two, so you have one you can wear, one you can wash, because as time goes and places start opening up more, you want to be able to provide your employees with all required PPE that your county says, or if your council has got more strict in the county, you want to be able to provide that. And having two cloth masks to your employees, you've literally gave everybody a required PPE. And so if most people have their own, they bring their own, though you still need to provide it as an employer. And if you get ever stuck in a position where you can't get the disposable mask, or they've gone out, or you're on stuck for a few weeks before you can get them in, you've gave the cloth mask and you've met your requirement for the PPE.
So Jody's asking what quality of mask did you guys provide?
So we've provided every employee a mask that is manufactured in the Bay Area out of a uniform company. That's a cloth mask with ties. Now the colors that they came have been pastel, but the color doesn't matter. This is something that we've issued. We also have the really, really, really generic blue disposable one with the rubber band that goes back. And this covers the face and the nose. We have N95 masks available, though those are a lot harder to work in. They restrict the breathing a lot more. People don't seem to prefer them, and they haven't been required by any of the Alameda County yet. So it's just the face covering. So we've provided the cheapest option. Currently we have the cheapest option possible, all the way to we spent about $2,000 on about 1,500 of these. So we'll have a lot for a while.
So
Also,
I'm going to run through some questions. So Barbie's asking, has anyone found a good source for purchasing the reusable masks? And she's noticing that the pricing is all over the place. I'm actually going to answer a little bit of this one. My husband works for the county. Part of his job was to design some masks. And when they went to their vendor, one of the things that they mentioned was the elastic was really expensive, and that's what was driving up the cost of the masks. And they wear N95s as part of what the people or the staff that he works with wear. And so they have a mask that's designed to go over the top of those to use those. And I know that our vendor that does like our tchotchke stuff or whatever you want to call it, our giveaways, has been doing the masks too. So she's given me like a price quote on that. So, and hers were actually really reasonable in comparison to someplace else. So if you want, Barbie, I'll shoot you her info.
Yeah, would you? I actually noticed like Custom Ink had them way cheaper than other places.
Yeah.
And you can get them customized, which I don't really care about the customization so much, but it was surprising how inexpensive theirs were compared to real ones that you see other places. And I wasn't sure if it was a quality thing or marketing or what it was.
Well, I think there's a variety. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can have one of my kids bring me the box, and I'll show you the different qualities of what he ordered his mask versus the other one. But Kara Galindo was sharing that she bought 200 from Custom Ink, and they upgraded to the 3-ply ones. And their cost was about $750.
Jeez.
I know. So I mean, there's some that are crazy, with the amount that's out there. So there's another
Bad, really, because some of the other ones I was given by our purchasing agent were $6 or $7 a piece, and that's who he was recommending I went with.
Yeah.
And I was like horrified. I'm like, I don't think I need to spend that much.
So depending on how many you need, you can. I found the place that I've bought them from that I get them within a week and a half. I'm getting it down to $4 a piece.
That's good.
But you have to buy 500 of them.
Okay.
So that is for me, I bought for the organization. So, yes, that goes $2,000, and they manufacture them. The company's out of Indiana, but they have a manufacturing in San Leandro, I believe. So they came pretty quick, and I think we were free shipping. They're made in USA. So, I'll go ahead and I'll compile this information, and we'll find a way to get it to everybody who's interested, for sure, of places I've used. So, and that place does actually offer customized face mask embroidery, but those are going to be a little more expensive. Yeah.
So Barbie, I grabbed the one that was there.
Yeah.
This is really thin. I don't know if you can kind of see. It's designed to go over the N95 masks.
Okay.
So this one was a little cheaper. It is screen printed on that he had it, but I'm going to ask him where he got other ones, because they ordered some general ones that are just, they're the 2-ply. They're comfortable to wear, but I will get some pricing on that too. So CJ and I'll put a list together and get it out to everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so Steve from Arinda is also asking for some gowns just in case. Is there any good recommendations for that?
So, Steve, you said? So,
Yes.
gowns meaning in, for what application and for what, like cloth gowns or Tyvek gowns or medical grade gowns?
Yeah, just like a medical grade gown so that you could, just in case there's a sick kid and you're having to deal with them. I don't know who we're going to assign for that once summer camps kind of reopen. But our policies and procedures note that we have to have something on hand, including the face shields as well.
Uh-huh. Oh, the face shields. Okay. So I have not had to order gowns. If anybody has, please chime in. I have ordered Tyvek suits, which I think would meet the same requirements as gowns, and those have been really hard to come by, and they're quite expensive. So they come in a box of 25, and they're about $250 a piece. I mean, they're or right around there. And what I've done on the Tyvek suits is I've realized that I placed an order with every vendor I've had for 1 or 2 boxes. Eventually, I'll be able to use them once COVID's gone for pesticide spraying.
Sure.
But and if they send me enough, that's fine. But I'm realizing what I've had to do for any type of suit is put my order into all the natural vendors that I've had and wait to see who can send me what they got. And then the other thing
that's what I'm finding too.
The other thing is that sizing is a big deal on those. So if you can find the gown style, that's going to be a bit better one size fits all. And that's actually that's a good. I wrote it down because that's a good thing to be looking at. If we require that, a gown will be a more affordable way to disperse that PPE. What I've noticed with the Tyvek suits is the reason why I've never kept a lot of it is because we've normally used them just for spraying, and I don't want to carry medium from triple XL. Now the gowns might be the better way to do it. That's a good. Thank you for that.
Right, and I think for example, for Arinda, I think if we had 2 or 3, that's probably going to be ample. I don't know. At least to get us through the summer. I hope.
Yeah. So the gowns if they can be reusable, you might have an easier time doing that where you put the gown on or have 2 of those and you can wash one while one's being used. If you find a vendor, I mean, I would probably put an order in for disposable ones too, because once you do dispose of them and you realize you start using them every day, there might be a hard time to get it in. So on things like that, where you're having a hard time getting them in, that's why I did it with masks. Is I also opted to get reusable ones too, just in case. The last thing I want to do is send somebody home, whether it's an employee or have to postpone a camp because we just can't provide PPE.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some mask questions that come up. When we're looking to reopen facilities, is there anybody that's planning on providing masks to people that come in?
Arinda will have some, but not a lot. We're hoping they show up with them, but if necessary, we can provide some.
Anybody else plan to provide any? Or we
are not planning to provide them.
We're not providing any, but just as a quick search for disposable gowns, just because I've been purchasing things left and right. If you go to Amazon Business, you can get 150 disposable gowns for about $165.
I did the same thing, Jody.
I've just been searching for stuff left and right, so I happen to have it on my screen. So $165 for 150 disposable gowns.
They're not high quality, I don't think.
I'm assuming not, but like
quick and easy.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
How quick do they ship?
Jody, do you know how quick we can get them?
Sorry, I was looking. It says June
Okay.
1st.
Oh, that's not
good.
bad.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
If you sign up for Amazon Business, for with your email address, it says June 1st. So next week, next week.
The other thing that our purchasing manager did was he worked with Amazon Business to get special, capabilities of getting into purchasing
Yes,
things.
so did we with the
Okay, so,
COVID-19
yeah, if
section.
you don't have that, you might ask somebody who works with purchasing in your city to work with Amazon to be set up so you can get into the COVID-19 purchasing capabilities that you couldn't as an average person. Because you can find things cheaper, or you can just outright order things that you wouldn't be allowed to as an individual.
So if the city, like the Parks and Rec department, we have our own Prime account that we share. Is that just an upgrade, you think?
You probably need the business one, right, Jody? Don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Amazon, even though you have a Prime, they can connect you to the business and they set it up as a business account, and then they can put everybody underneath it.
And then they
Right.
actually have to designate you as a person who's allowed to purchase PPE.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pain.
It is a pain, but if your Prime account is already marked as like City of Orinda, it might be a little bit easier because that's how mine was. Mine was already marked as City of San Ramon, so it wasn't as difficult to have them say, like, we're a government agency, we are part of essential workers. So then they were able to just kind of cross that over, and we were able to use the COVID-19 section, which has more of the quick need ideas, masks and gloves and stuff.
So can I jump in? Can I? Oh no, sorry. I wanted to jump in real quick, if you don't mind. I don't want to stifle any conversation. I just thought of something. Is that there's some vendors who are only allowing repeat orders, only allowing you to buy things that your agency has bought in the past, and some of these products, if you're getting into having to purchase it yourself or not rely upon another department, you might call the public works or the parks departments to see who their vendors are if you hadn't, because for example, one vendor who has a lot of these products named Uline, which you could be used, they will only sell you these products if you've purchased them from in the past, and you could get a jump start on. They might have their sales rep that you can contact that will help you get on the right list, or they might have to pull up some orders, because a lot of the things that we're going to need going forward have been PPE that your cities have probably been buying in the past. So you could probably utilize some of their purchasing power and connections also. Yeah.
Another question has come up. Is everybody planning on providing masks to the staff that work there? Or are we allowing them to bring their own? I get the census from most that we'd all provide that to make sure that they're all the same.
Right.
I would definitely, any employee, we're here, anything that's regulated by OSHA or the county health orders, we're making sure we provide. So we don't want to be, and anything that, all the way from hand washing stations to disinfectant of high touch use areas, all the way to the face coverings. And we also have the ability to hand out rubber gloves, latex gloves, or nitrile gloves. So maybe it's a good time to talk about the gloves. So gloves, I haven't seen on any county order, unless I think you're serving food. I'm not too sure, but gloves have been a PPE that we are stocking. We do make available to all the employees if they like. Gloves are also, being able to, medium through extra large is really something you need to have in stock on the gloves. If you have extra large hands, there's no way you're going to get them on a medium. And then if you're medium and you're trying to wear extra large, you're just going to fall off. Those things, the gloves are sort of hard to come by. the ones that are easiest to come by are the latex, because latex aren't usually used inside the hospitals. They use nitrile because the latex allergies. Most people and I've never came and encountered for 20 years, I haven't encountered somebody with a latex allergy, though I know that they exist. So what we're trying to do is have a real big supply of latex and a small supply of nitrile or rubber. So we can be able to provide anybody with gloves that they need to. And I just sort of keep a little bit tighter control on the nitrile because they are more expensive and they are a little harder to come by.
Yeah, really hard to get, but you can get vinyl right now still.
Yeah, you can get all the other ones. And then there's some gloves, like if some people might want to have that protection, you can buy reusable rubber gloves that will provide that barrier that can just be washed. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah.
Liam shared that they've had success ordering their PPE through their fire and PD if they can't get it themselves, which is a great, counter resource, because we know fire for sure can get that stuff, and PD. So if you for some reason can't get it, that's a good spot to try.
Yeah, that is a great spot to try. I know I ran into the first couple weeks of the shelter in place. I ran into the problem that Hard is a Hayward area recreation and park district, and so when I was trying to order, we were bumped down to the bottom of the list because we were Parks and Rec and didn't seem as public safety or as essential as possibly somebody else. Over time, I was able to get onto on the vendors list that I do business with, onto the list of an essential service, and some of that had to do with I had to justify that we were cleaning bathrooms and cleaning facilities that the public will be accessing. That is a part of the parks and soon summer camps. I'm sure for many of us, the public will be accessing it, and so we do become on the same level as the hospitals and all the other places that are staying open on getting this PPE, especially for our employees. And you might have a vendor that says, "Tell me what you do," and you want to say, "We're cleaning facilities that the public is going to be accessing all day long." Yeah. I am really still getting used to hosting Zoom meetings. So I'm just saying like this and say, I'm done talking for now when I'm done talking for now. Done talking for now. Does any other questions or anything else?
I'll bring up one because I know the thermometers are the next thing that's going to be a big question, especially as we open facilities and camps. Where have people been successful in finding those? Is that another Amazon shopping, Jody? No?
No, you can't get them on Amazon. I've been somewhat successful and also somewhat unsuccessful. I've probably got $800 in lost money from sites that I'm just taking a chance on. We have about 16 on order. We've received 6.
So we have, there's a lot of scammers out there, so be careful. But we used iHealth.
That's the one we used too, Jody. I was trying to look up the name.
Yep, iHealth.
Another company that's been good that I've received from is Braun Therm, and they're out of China, but they come.
They do.
Ours came. We got 44 of them.
Okay.
That was expensive.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We purchased for the whole city though, so it wasn't just for Parks and Rec. We did it for everybody, so that all departments had them. It was just easier, and it was actually cheaper to do a larger order than it was to just do like 20 that we needed. It was better just do everybody at once.
How long did that take? I know both you and Barbie ordered. How long did that typically take to get them?
Like a week and a half.
Okay.
So I don't know. But see, we just did a training with John Muir Health, who walked everybody through how to do with actual correct reading using the thermometers. And this may sound crazy, but they've kind of discouraged doing that as a health screening in the summertime because it can be so wildly inaccurate. So our city's probably moving towards not even doing any of those and asking parents to do a reading before they check into camp, and then we'd ask them a bunch of questions and hope for the best. I don't know if anybody else
But
is
still keep it for the staff, maybe just not for the kids.
Not sure what they've decided on staff, to be perfectly honest. Yes.
He-
But definitely not for kids and not for anybody that just walks into an office or city hall or something like that. They would not bother testing them.
Right.
Has
Where-
anybody been asked to test the public so far?
Well, I don't think with us not being open. I mean, technically we're all still under shelter in place. So nobody's open. So we haven't really had like the public there.
Really quickly, following up on what Barbie you had said about it being the summer, was that strictly based on that it's quite warm in Concord in the summer? I mean, we're a little more temperate.
Yeah, I don't know if they were being specific to Concord or not. They were just saying it could be, it had a misread 25% of the time on being too high of a temperature, and you'd be sending home 25% of your participants potentially, which that's not okay. Especially when that's only one factor, obviously, of having COVID-19 is the temperature. There's so many other things that people could have and never have a temperature. So they just found it very reliable. I didn't go to the training, so I wasn't there, but everybody who came back from it was like, I don't think we should use them. So it was kind of a message sent, think twice about it. Don't maybe consider how you want to use them, where you're going to use them, and how much money you want to spend if that's the case. Because they're, they average $60 to $80, $90 a piece, depending where you get them from. The ones from iHealth were fairly inexpensive. And then of course there's no written guidelines that you have to do any temperature checks. So you're not breaking any guidelines or rules if you don't do it, unless your city's setting something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the calibration on all those, there will be a time where you have to recalibrate them, or if they're
that was the other piece they were talking about, is how much time in between use you have to give them.
Yeah. So, I mean, we haven't implemented anything here so far. Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen nothing but problems with that. You have to be trained. I think to have any type of legal case, you need to be properly trained on taking somebody's temperature and then showing that you've calibrated it correctly, or you've done every step possible. But that's interesting.
So I was going to share a little bit about what Kara shared. She said that they ordered a handful in case they needed them and couldn't find them later, but they probably won't be requiring there for participants, but keeping them for staff to self-check, since there's HIPAA and confidential health info concerns in general. And then a CDC rep said that they're not always reliable, and plus if someone wanted to hide a fever, they can pop some meds and temper their own temperature.
Yeah, CDC rep, that's what sorry, my dryer was on, so I was like, no point in me talking. Finally done, towel's done. Yeah, the rep themselves actually said, what's the point? They can pop some meds and you'll never know. And then with the heat outside, because we were playing, I like to play devil's advocate with our team. So I was like, well, if I wanted to circumvent the system, I can straight up have my kids hold ice packs to their foreheads before they get to the front of the line, and then they're going to take their temperature and nobody will know. I mean, worst case scenario. So
yeah. And it couldn't mean anything. I have a niece who had a fever for like 3 days, so they did the COVID testing on her, and they're like, nope, it's just like a cold. So you know, it's not always the come all be all as far as that goes, but it'll be interesting to see what cities play out and who puts that into what we're doing. Is there any other equipment or anything anybody's looking for, or is there any recommendations other than Amazon Business and a couple that CJ is going to share of places to buy equipment, or to make sure sanitizer and stuff is coming in, and any recommendations on that?
I've had good luck with HD Supply. I don't know if anyone uses those guys. They've been pretty good. And then a local coal supply or other supplies. He's been pretty good communicating what they have in stock or what's coming.
I've had luck with HD
coal supply out of Concord. Yeah, HD Supply.
HD Supply, which is Home Depot's business brand. And then also Waxy. I've had some luck with Waxy also. And I've put in the email in the comments the face mask place. Those have been my top three. Something I was going to suggest. I don't know how to do it from the Zoom meeting, but I could, if you're probably getting tons of emails on the listserv, some CPRS if you get those, but I wouldn't mind starting another email thread that I get a lot of PPE stuff in my inbox, and we probably do a little bit where they say we got 5,000 of these, and then, you know, by the end of the day they might be gone. I don't mind putting together these, and we can start sharing PPE stuff on an email list. Though I think the best way to do that would be to email me that you wanted to be on that list. Unless you can grab emails from here, Nicole. Can you do that?
I can't grab emails, but I have a list of everybody. So if everybody wants to be included, we can grab their emails.
Yeah, if okay. I don't mind, I can follow up with starting. I'll put a title on there. It'll be PPE sharing, and I can start sending you all the different the different ads I get or different updates I get.
Right.
Yeah.
So another question, CJ, that's probably, I don't know if it's maybe for you and me, maybe, but are you guys going to do that electrostatic disinfecting, the electrostatic spraying?
We haven't looked into that yet. For all our high touch surfaces like restrooms and anything that you can use water on, what we've been using is a disinfectant with a foamer. And you hook it up to a hose and you spray it down and leave it for 10 minutes. There you can buy pre-made or pre-packaged disinfectants that have the disinfectant and the foamer built in one. All you do is hook it up to a hose and it will disinfect after 10 minutes. What I've realized that the cost efficiency on that isn't really high. So what I've done is looked into buying our own foamers, which the foamers are what you put on the end of a hose that you usually see like fertilizer or something in, but you can calibrate them to mix the right ratios and then buy 1 gallon concentrated desanitizer. That's been a lot more cost efficient. With that comes a little bit more training and a little bit more PPE, whereas the disinfectant and in concentrate form, you do need to provide actually safety splash goggles while they're putting the mixture inside the bottle. It is, and wear rubber gloves. So those rubber gloves, the disposable kind you would wash dishes with. Those are the kind of things that we're using. I think people are going to work. I think everybody's going to be testing with all kinds of different sanitation and disinfecting things. Electrostatic, steam works too. The CDC recommends steam. There'll be some places we'll probably power wash with steam. Some places we'll spray down with a disinfectant. You know, there's going to be a lot of different discussions on how to get all of this done and what has to be done. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was to me that was one of the weirder things, is realizing that we're going to be disinfecting a lot more things, disinfecting the whole truck. If you're having your staff use trucks, and something that I was used to is having staff use trucks all the time, but you might not. Everybody's going to probably be driving by themselves, whether that's going to be your city vehicles. If it is your city vehicle, you should probably provide the ability for them to, one, disinfect the truck as they're when they take ownership of it, and then also leave it when they're done, disinfect it. And what we've done is we've mixed up spray bottles of the high concentrate disinfectant, which is, I think it's like 1:64 ratio, which means it's a 1 ounce per gallon, or it's 2 ounces per gallon ratio. And we put a spray towel, and we put this bottle, and we put it to where you would grab the keys and get your gas, and you spray, or you could leave it in the car even, and spray down as you take ownership of the vehicle, and then as you return it. And that sort of puts peace of mind to anybody worried about spreading corona or any other. This disinfectant kills flu, so not only are you going to be getting rid of corona, this practice is going to keep people healthy from the cold, from the flu, from anything else in the future. It's a really good practice. So,
sure.
And it's not very hard at all, actually. It hasn't really affected any of productivity. The one thing that's affected productivity is disinfecting the bathrooms multiple times a day. That seems to be, we haven't figured out where the public bathroom that's being accessed by not only eventually soon the camp kids, but also going to be accessible to the public. Where is we haven't figured out how often we're disinfecting it yet. Right now we're doing it 2 times a day. So
right.
Yeah, that seems to be where we're at.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing. And then I guess in the summer it'll be one more after, if we do a 9 to 12, then we would go back in again. And then at the end of the day again, and then later in the evening, I don't know.
Yeah.
So basically we're just cleaning all day. It's like I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, because that's what I do. I like Kara was do laundry, right? Throw the load in, get it going. So yeah, I mean, it thinks there's just a lot of. Go ahead. Go ahead, CJ.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I did have one other thing I wanted to add that's sort of unique, that you might not be used to, especially when you're going to be putting these forward to part-time people and the training that comes with this. I can't stress enough about if you do put in a place where you are having staff that's not used to doing janitorial custodian work, that you do go over the SDS or the MSDS for the products that you're using. This disinfectant is considered under the California Department of Pesticide Regulation a pesticide. You do have to train your employees to use this. Read the label, and you can go and get that. It's called the safety data sheet. It used to be called MSDS, now it's called SDS. And just go through that with your staff and record the fact that you're training your staff on it. I doubt, in the pesticide world, doing cleaners isn't what the Department of Pesticide Regulation is really going after, but you do have you are obligated as the employer to do the proper training for these disinfectants. And I'm very specific to disinfectants. Anything that kills anything is considered a pesticide. So, go over the label, read the label with the staff, read the label yourself, and read the SDS. And you could, any of the websites, if they sell it anywhere, the company that makes it on their website has the SDS available in a PDF format. You can print them and just go over it. And it will basically walk you through what's wrong with the thing, how it can hurt you, how you can clean it up, what things you have to wear doing it, and anything you might want to know about that product before you use it. So I stress it. I'll stress it again. I continue to stress it. And it takes 15, 20 minutes at the most, and then document the training, please.
Right. CJ, is it necessary to do a physical training, or like, for example, we've included it in our, whatever these new policies that go to all the staff about coming to the buildings and what you do. So it's the safety data sheets are part of that document, but we haven't done a physical training because really not many people are there or there on a regular basis.
So I haven't done a physical training for the disinfectant because the label and SDS usually will cover most of that. But I would recommend it if you have the ability to say to mix it if you are going to mix, spray it, read it, show somebody how you're going to spray down if you're going to spray down and what you expect. Oh, and the other thing you'll read when you do read about any disinfectant is that it usually takes 10 or 15 minutes sit time before it works. And that's part of the label. So spraying down and then wiping right away, you might be creating a peace of mind, but you're not actually doing a disinfecting, which if you want to get into the legal terms, if somebody comes back and says, I caught Corona from your place, and you tell them, hey, by the way, we disinfect 5 times a day. Here's what we do, spray, 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 wipe, wipe, wipe. You didn't read the label, and you probably will be in a place where you can't justify the fact that you disinfected it correctly. So once again, reading those labels, reading the SDS, reading the directions on what to do is really important, because depending on the product you're using, it's going to be between 10 and 15 minutes sit time before you actually created a true disinfectant. Yeah.
You know, the other thing is making sure that that's important is that on each site that you make sure you have those MSDS sites. So if we're doing a camp binder or you're doing something like that, you need to make sure that those sheets are also available in there. So that all the documentation on the sites you're using it, that you include that. So if you're increasing or changing any cleaners or anything like that, you need to make sure that those appear in those binders.
And you'll want to, every place that has a potable bathroom is considered a eye washing station. Though I would recommend that any camp or any place that you're going to have a disinfectant there, is that you also provide a bottle of eye wash, a personal, at least one bottle of something that says eye wash cleaner. Because then if you go and you tell something happens, you tell OSHA or that, hey, we had the restroom there and there's a sink that you could wash your eyes out. That is probably close to, you met the requirement, though having a $5 bottle of eye wash is definitely going to, one, help your person out that might get this in their eyes a lot better. Two, it's going to cover your city's or district's butt a little bit better. And they're not expensive. They're not hard to come by. And eye wash is good for if you get sand in your eye too. So, you know, a personal bottle of eye wash with every little camp will protect any of your rec leaders, your camp leaders, or your employees. So that would be something I would recommend. Yeah, that's COVID related. Yeah.
Just remind them to wash good eye to bad eye and not bad eye to good eye. Otherwise, we'll be in a
or just wash bad eye.
Yeah, there's that too.
All right.
So does anybody else have any questions? So I kind of want to recap. What we're going to do is CJ and I'll go ahead and put a list together that'll include everybody that joined us today. We can always add people. And we're going to cover some of the things that I got from people today as far as places to buy masks. I'll add a few of mine. CJ will add some of his. And we'll get a list going. And I made a list of some places to purchase stuff. And so we'll kind of recap this meeting with some notes and then start a list. And that way we have some stuff going on. And throughout the list, we could definitely ask if somebody's looking for something and somebody can give some recommendations just as we are learning our new normal, or our new normal for today and what'll change tomorrow and what we'll have to pivot and adjust to. You know, it's a forever changing model that we're working with. You know, I think those of us in recreation, you know, the running joke is if I get just a little bit more information, I'll be good to go.
We're going to happen.
Yeah. We are never going to get the information we need. So
I was thinking I would reschedule this Zoom meeting in about a month. We can, if anything, after we have an email list and we start communicating there, and then we can look at what this looks like in a month, and maybe we'll have a long-term perspective also. So.
All right. So we will be respectful of everybody's time. So we thank you for being with us today. Again, it's recorded. Once I get it all adjusted, I'll send it over to Matt and he'll be able to post it so everybody can see all our fun Zooms we've been hanging out and what we've been doing. But if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me. I actually will grab everybody's emails from our email serve that we have. So I'll get those and we'll put this together. But if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to myself. I'm happy to help with anything. So
Thanks, guys.
thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.